Welcome to another episode of Talking in Bits, where we walk you through Bitcoin bit by bit so we can hopefully give you the information you need to possibly get rich. I'm Jose here, half of the team. Got Ben again. Back for another episode. What's going on, good sir?
How are you?
I'm good, man. There's a lot of good news, as always.
Yeah.
It seems like every time we get on this microphone, there's always better and better.
I listened to the last episode we did. I think it was 10. And it was like, oh, yeah, we predicted like a bunch of things. I was like, okay, all right.
And I wouldn't say predicted. We just have a pulse.
Yeah, we're following the trend of the market. And we know where it's going.
Yeah. And would you agree Twitter's where it's at when it comes to Bitcoin? Yeah,
my Twitter is so bad because I created specifically that Bitcoin page where like...
Bad like good or bad like bad?
No. Well, bad in a way where like I'm continuously buying the dip. But it's just in your face. You know what I mean? Like I'm following 20 people and they're like, yep, 55. This is it. Buy more.
Yeah.
And it comes true all the time, but it just makes me obviously buy more Bitcoin. Yeah. When I wasn't planning
I think I do the same thing. Yeah. But I try to... Encouraging. You know how I always try to sell myself on stuff. So I had to build like this whole... It's part of my plan, and it's really just that. Is that I see some massive action going. I see some very smart people that know a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I got to buy more. Buy more. I think one thing that I didn't believe in the beginning, but I'm starting to believe more every day, is that feeling of you never have enough. I heard that a lot. Yep. And I'm still like, you have enough. And then now, like you said, you see somebody's post something hot, and you're just like, I need to get up.
Yeah, I think there's someone in the medical space who was, opposing the lockdowns and opposing the medicines. Yep. He's also a Bitcoin guy. He was one of the frontline doctors at America that got censored or whatever. Yeah. But he had posted something that said, today Bitcoin buys you a nice sports car. Tomorrow it buys you a nice house. And so to like think about that, it's like, fam, we're looking at houses, and houses are like $600,000. Yeah. It's like, bro, that's a lot of dough. It's a big mortgage.
It's extremely powerful.
So, in light of that, in light of assets going up, in light of, the Fed continuing with inflation and printing money. Yeah. They're talking about, the price of everything's going to go up and you're going to love it. It's like, no, fam. Yeah. I'm not going to love this because my wages aren't going to go up like that. Right. And so, yes, you're right. We don't have enough. Yeah, we don't have enough. But then at the same time, we do, right? Because you hear of those numbers that are like, I think it was like 0.19 big, like as long as you got 0.19 Bitcoin. So, and then I try to tell at least my, questionable friends, like the ones that don't understand it and are questioning Bitcoin to the very core. I try to tell them like, in theory, each Satoshi is going to reach $1 at that level. So it's like nowadays a buck will get you 1,600 Satoshis. Yeah. Yeah. I just sent my boy, was it $10 or $20? Yeah, I converted into sats, and I was like, well, one day this could be like $10,000.
Yeah, so for $1, you just traded $1 now to get $1,600
in the future,
and in the near future, I would say. This isn't very far off. Like, I mean, I think in December we were like, it's kind of far off, but now it's like this isn't far off. Like
December was what, $30,000?
30, yeah. Was that more early January? I think December was still kind of like 22. 25. Yeah, wow. like under 25. I don't know, man.
My New Year's resolution financially was to have, basically, like I thought we would hit $50,000 by the end of the year, and I was like, I remember talking to you about that. Thrilled about that, and we got that in like January, February. It's crazy.
It's kind of like warp time because it's like it's only March. Mm-hmm. But it feels like it's later in the year. Like it feels like a lot of stuff has gone down. And for the most part, I've said it in this podcast before, Bitcoiners seem to just wake up with good news all the time. In a shitty world, in a strange world.
I mean, the worst news I see are like, we woke up to a dip. All right, buy more.
That's good.
Like
right.
if that's your
great
worst news.
Yeah, that's great news. Even especially like, for plebs, right? Like I only got $5. It goes down. That's good news, right? Like you can throw that in there, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Even the recent price sell-off with the whole Gemini thing where it went from 60 to 55. Yeah. It's like, all right, if that's the worst of news and the worst thing to happen, let's buy the dip. And we bounced back in a few days.
We did bounce back. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the Gemini thing, right? Yeah. So you sent me that message, and that is when we took a what they would call a tank, but it wasn't really a tank. It was just a small dip.
The mass media would say bear market.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, as always, I think they have those headlines like ready, like for the next time it's gonna happen, which is very weird. Crazy. But yeah, so I told you that if this is a legit market manipulation, then this goes against the whole thesis, and I'm pretty much out, right? Yeah. Like that type of thing. Obviously, I'm not out. Yeah. But that would be very questionable, and I think the market would have reacted and I think it would have just kept going down and down and down.
Yeah.
So what did you think when the Gemini thing? Did you know it was like
Yes,
FUD?
so I understood it as like they have these whale crypto alert services through Telegram, through Twitter, and they basically just show when there's like a big sell-off. And they had said that there was an influx on Gemini, but basically they made it seem as if like an X amount of coins became available on Gemini.
Yep.
Like they came from an outside wallet and came in. But from what I understood, I thought it was that they had moved around, but it was still on Gemini the entire time. Okay. So they perceived it as more Bitcoin becoming available, and that's why people sold off.
Was it fake news though? It was FUD, right?
Yeah.
I think it ended up.
It wasn't what the whale alert predicted it to be.
Okay.
And we went to 55 grand, and then a few days later we're back at 59.
Yeah. Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, leading right into our next topic, it would be no accident that Morgan Stanley announced. What did they announce?
Yeah, well, they said that you peons with small portfolios aren't allowed to buy Bitcoin, but if you have accounts 2 million and up with us, we can acquire Bitcoin on your behalf.
Now tell the listeners, if they don't know what Morgan Stanley, who Morgan Stanley is.
Yeah, Morgan Stanley is one of the biggest financing services in the world.
Yeah, incredible.
So, again,
long time too.
Hyper Bitcoinization. Morgan Stanley's been a big company for forever. The same way Tesla de-risked Bitcoin, Morgan Stanley is de-risking Bitcoin for the financial world, for them to all get their feet wet so people can basically, invest in Bitcoin and diversify their portfolio. So I mean, if these big funds are doing, 10 to 20% diversifying into Bitcoin, I think it's a $95 million price injection will bring Bitcoin up 1%.
Yeah.
So
I got a question. So that means money's coming in.
That means $1 billion will move the price up 10%.
Well, just I didn't know that number, but just the fact that if you need a $2 million portfolio with them in order to even play ball.
That's one of those like smaller details that I've caught in the articles.
Yeah. So my question would be, I mean, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I you would probably know better than I would. Why go through a Morgan Stanley when they could just buy their own Bitcoin?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just to have it all in one spot. Or maybe you have part of your portfolio already in Morgan Stanley. It's not performing up to par, right? Technology has been booming.
Yeah.
And now that, the economy is opening back up, the stocks that have been down, the flight industry, the carnival vacation industry, right? Cruises, movie theaters, all those stocks are going to come back up. So people are going to rebalance their funds into those.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see technology come down. And then, as they're taking losses from holding technology, maybe they're selling off some to now buying a Bitcoin again to diversify their portfolio.
Yeah.
So,
and I could also see those guys, like the owners of these portfolios, not wanting to deal with the nitty gritty part of Bitcoin.
Like I don't want to have to hit up Swan Bitcoin and get something going with them and, wire $1 million.
Yeah, I'm sure those guys could give two shits what a cold card is.
Right. Yeah, it's just a matter of...
It's an exposure thing.
Yeah.
And being able to pull out whenever they want. Right? Yeah. I see that part of it, but...
That's the only thing I can think of.
We'll they got to talk more to Michael Saylor.
Attend his webinar. Michael Saylor needs to do a Bitcoin for the wealthy and affluent or something.
Does he have that on his website?
He has Bitcoin for corporations.
Yeah.
But he has to do one for just like the average person or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Nah, I think that's what we got. That's what we're for, right? Come on, you're gonna take it out of business.
I mean, like his network of people. Like, I don't know. They watch his corporate stuff. Or I don't know. Maybe they just listen to his podcast with Breedlove. Or something. But that dude he's like the main evangelist right now, man.
Yeah, I would say his moves have got us here. Yeah, when people, I had somebody actually ask me that, like, do you think it's an accident that it went from, what it was in December to what it is now? And I'm like, not what Michael Saylor did.
Bam, 20 to 60, bro.
Yeah, he's dollar cost averaging to some crazy numbers, and he literally built the blueprint.
He's at 2,000 plus coins at an average of like 26.
Insane. He's gonna be good. We talked about that in the previous episode. Yeah. I kind of fear that in a sense, but
it's we can't do anything about it.
No, and we needed that, right? Because it's all an influence thing. Yeah. Like, we couldn't influence guys in his position. Yeah. But when he's up there talking to, other companies and they take him serious because he knows what he's talking about.
Tesla, bro. They bought 1.5 million after his thing. And they've made like $1 billion on that.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I love it. So there's a lot of money going in, and that's why it's gonna That's why we're seeing these prices, and that's why I agree with you. When we took that 55, that's why we bounced right back.
Yeah,
because this news continues to come out. I went to the grocery store the other day, and the Coinstar machine gave you Bitcoin.
Whoa.
It didn't give you Bitcoin. I was nosy and I went to the specifics. So there's a service that I guess covers that, and then they would give you a receipt. You would go to the website, you probably sign in, and then you give like the code on the receipt and get your Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
That's cool for the average person. For me, it was just in my mind, it was like another account. Like I gotta, some KYC again maybe to get this out, and so I didn't want to do that. But the fact that I was at the grocery store. Yep. And I looked over and saw the Bitcoin logo, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So there's a adoption is happening.
Yeah, there are a lot of Bitcoin ATMs.
I want to see one, man. I want to use
well.
one.
I think I found one in Providence.
I don't know if you feel this way, but for what? Like, I know for what. We'll talk about Lightning later, but I'm not taking no Bitcoin.
For the older generation who wants to pull up with $5,000 cash instead of pulling up and then having to go to the bank and then having to get a Coinbase or something. You know what I mean? Like that's all I can think of. Some people just like to.
My parents still go to the bank to pay their mortgage. Like, I'm over here online. They don't want to do none of that. Yeah. So
my boy on the pod earlier, he had to go to the bank and deposit money, and like I'm with Ruben, I both kind of laughed. Like, what do we need to do this for?
It's insane. A waste of time. Yeah. And I don't know if you have a bank since COVID?
Fam, with two of three of my banks, you need an appointment.
Yeah, I think mine as well. Yeah.
Why, bro?
Yeah,
listen, give me access to my money, fam.
I was closing on the house. This was the beginning of COVID, like the first few weeks or whatever. Yeah, I needed.
That's understandable, but that's still trash.
Well, let me finish the story, and then you're gonna tell me it's not understandable. Yeah, I went to the bank. The mortgage company was closing, and they were like, "Yeah, we need $5,000 to finish whatever, and we need it by tomorrow, or we're gonna have to delay." Dude, I waited 4.5 hours outside the drive-through line.
Crazy.
To get this check deposited so that I could close the next day.
I would have been a nervous wreck, dog.
Yo, I left my boss like, yo, I'll be back in like an hour because my bank's up the street. I had to call out the rest of the day. I was like, I'm stuck here. And it was terrible. Yeah. It was terrible. There was nobody there.
You should hit me up, bro.
About what?
No.
It was one of those situations.
You need to put it in the bank?
No, it was one of those where they needed a cashier's check. So it was like, verification or whatever, right? Like something legit. I don't know. Right. Listen, the smart contracts, we talked about this off air plenty of times. Like the mortgage process of closing is just terrible. It is really bad. Old certificates, exchange in hand, like the person telling me like, oh, you got to wait 2 weeks for this to go to City Hall. And in I'm like, why?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Because this is how we set it up in 1950.
Right.
And we don't change things here.
Yeah. But they don't want to change it here. Yeah. Because they don't want to lose their jobs, basically.
Yeah. So I got financial advisor friends, and like, I know they see the writing on the wall with Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah.
Like they got good gains with the stock market last year because the stock market crashed and they wrote it up. But they see the writing on the wall, man.
That's a pro game, I guess, is what I'll say. Like, I know the average person could get into stocks, and I tracked the S&P for the last 3 years, and it's good. I got gains from it. It was fantastic.
Better than inflation.
For sure, right? Yeah. But like, I didn't once think like, I got this. Like, it was just like, one day I'm going to get that. Now the feeling lately is, I got this. Like, it's like, it's insane what's happening. I don't, not just your friends, but any financial advisor, please don't speak to me about what's beating what and when it comes to growth, because we've never seen nothing like this. And you would admit they'd be in denial if they were saying that they could try to match Bitcoin pound for pound. I don't think so.
No, they won't. They're basically saying that it's a highly speculative asset. And so, like, it's doing 200% a year.
That's fair.
It's very speculative. It's very volatile. Fair.
Well, how much news does that person need, though?
Like price alerts, or
like what's happening? Like you said, the writing's on the wall. Like, so that person that's still on that stand, a speculative asset. What is it? What domino needs to drop for them to say, oh no, this is the real?
I don't know.
And that could be different for everybody, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe when all the big banks start, openly endorsing it.
Treasury,
right? So JP Morgan's changed their tune. Stanley.
Yeah.
My bad. Morgan Stanley has, now bought in. Visa's bringing it to everyone. So like,
that's what I mean.
I don't know what else.
Insurance companies
are buying it, but maybe when more big banks are buying into it, maybe when all the banks are, putting it on their balance sheet and opening up trading desks, then it'll, be worth something.
I'm gonna tell you what, whoever's waiting for the Treasury to buy in, you're gonna be really upset to find out that the Treasury's already buying.
Yeah. Literally.
You're going to be really late to this ball game.
Yeah.
But I still don't consider this late. I still continue it very early. Like, if the average person, could say I'm in before Amazon, that's early.
We can say we were in before
any of them.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's early.
In before Visa.
Yeah.
In before, big players.
Yeah.
All might keeps dropping.
Yeah, I know. I hear it, but I don't know what it is. Dude. Just ride through it.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, it's implemental anyways. It's like beeps. Yeah. But yeah, no, I got a few older people at work that I work with near me, and slowly but surely they're listening. And I'm not even doing any orange pilling. Like I did before, but now it's just more like they come to me and like, you see the price today? and sometimes I don't, because I don't really check it early in the morning like that. I don't get to my phone till later in the day. But they got the news for me. Like as soon as I walk into the building, I'm like, 50, 55, 56. Yeah. And it's cool because they're the older generation and they kind of see how dope this is. But I still think they're like, you know, like they just want to use, they don't care about the cold storage stuff and all that. They just want to ride a little money, maybe take a trip to take a vacation. Yeah, man. And I'm cool with that, man. I'm like, more power to you.
Get that Mustang restored and, you know, enjoy those years, man. I was at Fing last night. We got sushi and I heard the table next to us having a combo. Kid was probably like 25, maybe he was with his girlfriend or sister, and I think parents or whatever. Yeah. And they mentioned Bitcoin, and we were kind of talking about it. And
got to.
Yeah, like the dad is like, yeah, man, 20 years from now. Yeah. Like again, it's the internet before the internet.
It's insane.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Imagine if there was an internet stock that we all could have bought, or our parents could have bought.
Yeah, Amazon.
Like how much to change your life, right? Yeah, Amazon,
Disney, all of them, Apple, you know.
Yeah, so
if you had Apple, all right, maybe some people didn't catch Apple from the very beginning, but if you got Apple before the iPhone,
yeah, oh yeah, insane. I mean, even locally, people bought EMC and put their kids through college, and now EMC got bought out by Dell.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
$1 billion company.
Yeah, but only, and this is a completely different, I'll tell you, only if they had that information. Right, like only if they knew what an asset was, only if they had that education.
Yep, or their advisor put them on. Right.
True, but I don't know. I didn't have an advisor. I don't think my parents had.
No.
The advisor was the dude coming to collect the rent center check.
Right. Crazy.
But yeah, crazy. So talk about, speaking of futuristic technology, or in the future at least, Starlink. You want to talk about Starlink?
So Starlink, a lot of people are posting UFO videos like, oh, look at these UFOs. It's not UFOs. You will see lights in the sky. Yeah. It's a link of satellites that are going to basically cover the entire globe, sending everyone 5G.
Insane.
Right? In theory, you know, that's amazing. They're going to give us internet everywhere, especially there are people who don't have internet. Yeah. And then my thing is you know, for someone in China, if they can't access like Facebook and whatever, can they get Starlink and get around the censorship? All right, this is just going to change the game in a lot of different ways.
I'm going to say no on a device level.
Yeah, probably.
Like the internet could beam it to them, but is the device going to be able to display it?
Open it up.
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody more techie than me would have to do that.
Yeah, so there was a tweet that had just said, you know, in the future, Starlink is going to bring Bitcoin to billions of people. Yeah. It's just like, all you need is a phone, which mostly everyone has. Yeah. And access to the internet. Starlink is going to provide that.
That's insane. So
that is going to be, you know, mass adoption on steroids when that's complete.
I got two thoughts on Starlink. Yeah. It's not an original idea, but maybe they executed it better. And I'm more intrigued with the guys that are sending transactions through ham radio. Yeah. That seems to be, because if shit goes down, ham radios are going to be, you know, probably one of the last few, you know, sources of communication that are going to be available. So this guy's beaming transactions. But did you ever hear of Project Loon?
No.
From Google? Well, it's like their project.
I think I might have seen it in a headline, but I never looked into it.
Yeah, Project X Labs that Google has or whatever. So they had these balloons, like hot air balloons. But
I remember this. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And their plan was to ride the Earth's orbit and broadcast internet to you know specific areas that don't have internet access. Recently, they just shut down that project.
Yeah, Starlink probably.
Did it better? Or maybe on the side, it was like, Google was like, we weren't trying to do this anyways, but we want to sell the idea to somebody, and maybe sold it off to an Elon of the world.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, because I find it very weird that as soon as Starlink started coming around, Project Loon shut down. Like Google was like,
I mean, Musk got to the moon with SpaceX. So like for him to say, hey, can I have permission to launch satellites across the world?
Yeah. And I would say the satellite approach is better than a hot air balloon approach. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'd think a hot air balloon would come down before a satellite.
It wasn't. I don't want to call it a hot air balloon. I saw like a whole project video. It's technology inside it that makes it not dip, right? Like it's controllable to the point of altitude and everything.
Oh, cool.
So it's not like just hot air and it's floating around.
Is it like a blimp, but it looks like a hot air balloon?
It just looks like one, but it has smarter controls.
That's fine.
Right. So it's not.
Would you ride that?
No, I don't think it's built for that. Obviously,
I would never. I wouldn't go in a
Oh yeah, no.
Hot air balloon either.
Listen, and it's not even about the balloon; it's about the small basket. Like, yeah, I'm good. That's too small area for me.
I'm good.
But yeah, Starlink, cool. Everything Elon does is cool. We talked about him. He's an alien.
Too cool for school, man. That dude's gonna be the evil guy in the future, man.
Always been a smart guy. I read his biography or whatever. And yeah,
robots, bro.
Yeah, I don't think he was an accident, but it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird for him to hit a home run every single freaking time.
It's not just a home run. It's legit a game-winning grand slam.
Sure,
like
game
every
changer.
at bat. Like
life changer.
I don't know. Maybe his failures don't get broadcasted, but the stuff he's doing is nuts.
Perfect time too. Like it's all about time, right? I was just reading a book lately, and it was just like it's a timing thing. Like
absolutely.
Back to the Apple stock, you had to be alive for that, and you had to understand it. You had to be in the right neighborhoods, right? That was teaching that.
Didn't Gladwell talk about that in his book?
I read so much Gladwell.
The Outsider.
It all blends together.
I forget, but he had a chapter on just like the timing of Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, all these people.
Is that Tipping Point?
I think it was Tipping Point. Might have been.
Yeah, I have him all mushed up.
He talks about it. He's like, there are people who were as good as Gates and all these other people.
Yeah.
But their window of opportunity wasn't lined up with when they were at their peak.
Yeah. Gates happened to go to one of the schools, and probably the state that had a computer inside that he can actually use.
Right.
That's a rare opportunity for sure. That's So I want to talk about Cash App.
Yep.
They just announced, I shout out to Cash App.
Yeah.
Let's get the sponsorship going.
Get that going.
Yeah, but Cash App is the coolest thing that I think any company has done so far. And that's allowing people to send Bitcoin to cash tags.
Yeah, I sent my boy who doesn't have any Bitcoin, sent him like $10 or $20 today at lunch. Yep. And he didn't have to like verify his ID through the Bitcoin button or anything. It was just kind of, you send it directly to his Cash App.
Because I was wondering if they would have to KYC, but I guess they would only have to KYC if they want to send to you.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. We're about to find out.
That's interesting. We should test that out.
Yeah.
Or are they doing the Jack Mallers thing, right? Like, are they using Lightning already, and that's the way they do it? So if somebody doesn't have KYC, I can still send you Bitcoin because I'm going to send it to your cash tag. They're going to take the $10, flip them into sats, and send them to you on the fly.
Yeah.
I didn't think about this.
Yeah. So I'm going to
They're ahead of the game, bro.
Yeah, man. And it's seamless because we already have it on our phone. You know what I mean? There's no need to set up your bank account with this, verify how you do that. It's just like
you said, you sent Francis the gift, which I appreciate. Thank you so much.
Listen, if your nephews having birthdays or your cousins, send them sats.
I still use
Put
that.
them away. Tuck them away. We don't want toys.
Nah.
Toys go in the trash. Get them sats, and when they're 18, they're going to love you.
Yeah, for sure. And I still use that against my sister all the time. I send it to her on Christmas, on her the days after that.
Yeah.
And that money is something right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna start sending it to my sisters now.
Do it.
They both have Cash App, and I've been telling them, "Hey, buy Bitcoin. Hey, buy Bitcoin." But now I can literally just send them.
Yeah. So. But my thing is that it didn't like. I thought you needed to KYC to get it, but I see what they're doing. I see what they're doing. So you just gave me a eureka moment telling me that your buddy didn't have the KYC because that I thought that would be a limitation. Like I'm like, cool.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, ooh, because I saw Cash App had tweeted it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder what happens if I send it to someone who hasn't verified their ID for Bitcoin, and it went straight through.
But they can't do anything but convert it to cash though.
Probably.
Yeah.
But they still have it. Right?
They can hot wallet it for as long as they want, as Cash App exists. But they're gonna have to KYC to get out.
Yeah,
and that kind of sucks, but the advantage is there, and it's fantastic. It's very early on. Yeah, I've sent some to my wife before to do our dollar cost averaging or whatever.
Yep.
Like it was like a week ago, so it was before this announcement. But once again, she's KYC'd, and so am I. So I saw that in the settings you have a wallet, and I told her let's try it. So it worked. But boy, with people without KYC, that's a big one. Shout out to Cash App. Big fan of Cash App. Visa, working on enabling it on the network.
Yeah, man.
I'm a little bit confused about this. I'll talk about Fold a little bit later, but my Fold card is a Visa card.
Yep.
So what are we doing here? What's the difference?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think they want to enable like transactions within wallets and stuff. So kind of like where you can send, I don't know, like maybe you have like a $50 Visa gift card.
Okay.
And maybe I can swipe that, convert it to Bitcoin.
Okay.
Or I can use my Visa card on the Visa network to buy Bitcoin. I feel like there's a lot of different opportunities.
Sure.
In that space. But, they're already across 100 million people, 100 million merchants.
Yeah.
So
it's big. Either way, it's big. I'm just confused at that because most of the cards that I've seen, even the BlockFi one that hasn't dropped it, that's
waiting.
That's probably a Visa card or is that a MasterCard? Either way. But I could see where like my Fold card is, like it's a Visa card in the sense that the bank is doing all the transactions.
Yeah.
But Fold, the company, is the one that's actually fulfilling the Satoshis, if that makes any sense. So I can see where Visa just makes it in one. I just thought about this, and I'm going to take a shot at this, and you let me know what you think. Cash App is the dog that now everybody has to follow when it comes to that card game trends. Okay.
Yeah, they're. I feel like they're leading the pack.
Yeah, just thinking about that Visa example right there, all I was thinking was like, yeah, Cash App's already doing this.
Yeah. They're leading the way, and they're cool.
Yeah.
So.
And they're cool. Yeah, because I've been getting 10% cash back on dinners for at least a few months. Groceries, I've done it a few times. 5% off everything on Bitcoin. So
is that through the Fold card, or what is that?
No, that was Cash App. Through the Cash App card.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they had the little boost that you can put. Now the only problem I found with that is that it's whenever they want it. It's steady. It's probably like every Friday they give it, so they know. Yeah. But with the Fold one now, you pretty much get something every time. Yeah. You get a little bit of sat back.
Yeah, I saw someone bought groceries, $100.
I've seen people pay like mortgage and stuff, which I'm still jealous that people can pay mortgage with reward cards because I have to pay it with a bank.
Yeah.
And that's weird.
Yeah, I think it depends who you have your mortgage with.
Correct. But I wish I was one of those because I would be satting away my mortgage. But yeah, and they give you like the fun stuff, like the wheels. Yeah. So you can literally walk in, spend 150 in groceries. They always give you a wheel spin whenever you scan the card.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's cheap, but sometimes it's like times 25 you purchase in sats.
Wow.
It's just incredible. Yeah. But I still think it's like the bank just does the normal stuff and then Fold
does it on top.
Fulfills their sat. Yeah. Because you have to wait every month to cash out, which is fine. And you have to get as little as 50,000 sats, the minimum to send out to a wallet.
Gotcha.
But they eat the fee. I was going to talk about it a little later, but Fold app is really cool, guys. They're going to open access at the end of the month, I think, for everybody.
Cool.
So you can get I talked about it in the last episode, $150 version. It's the premium. They give you more boost, more spins.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a lottery, but they do give you the opportunity on every wheel to get one whole Bitcoin. Are you gonna get one? Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. So fire though.
Yeah, it's just it's cool, man. They made it really fun to just use my card. My wife was gonna get some simple ingredients for her business, and I was like, take that Fold card. Like, let's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just easy to spend.
Fold card for gas.
Everything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I see people online paying for their mortgage, and I'm like, I need that.
How do I do that?
Because imagine your mortgage, whatever, over $1,000. Let's say $1,200, right? And then you get a one that says, hey, if your purchase was over $100, it'll be 5x your in sats. That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's what, 5,000 sats?
No, because 5,000 sats is only $5. No, 10,000 sats is $5.
Gotcha.
So they're gonna give you some. It's gonna be a few hundred, 100,000 sats probably, in one of those purchases. Matter of fact, next time it happens to me, I'm gonna send you a picture.
Yeah. Let me know. Keep me posted on that.
Yeah, for sure. But so they've made it fun. But I can see where Visa might be wanting to do what Cash App is doing, which is on the fly. And I want to talk about Jack Mallers because before Cash App, we gotta give Jack Mallers his love.
Yeah, man.
This was his strategy, man.
Yeah.
That flipping currency on the fly. Yeah. He was doing this before the Cash Apps of the world, and they got a bigger network.
And here's the deal, though. Like, it's not like Lightning or Strike is going anywhere. Like, they're still acquiring NFL players to do that.
Saquon?
Right? There's like 8 NFL players. I followed all of them today.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know there was 8. I knew about Saquon, though. That's pretty dope.
6 or 8 right now.
That's dope.
Someone tweeted him out, and I was like, this is dope. To the whole Russell Okung thing. In the future, we don't care about who wins sports. We care about them using Strike to convert their paycheck into Bitcoin every Tuesday.
And that might be
watching the price go up.
That might be Strike's niche. Like, I mean, and they got the global reach. Like I said, I don't think.
And that was my next point. They're global, right?
Yeah,
so Cash App is what, America?
Europe probably, but
maybe Europe.
Not the small areas.
It's not third world countries who really need this technology. So
right, and if I'm not mistaken, I think with Strike, do you need banking? I don't think you need banking with Strike.
Yeah,
I think that was his whole thing, which is like, there's not the unbanked is what they call them, right?
Yeah, the unbanked.
Yeah. So shout out to Jack Mallers. I just don't want him to get lost in the mix because I got huge respect for the guy as a previous small time developer, and just him coming out the bat with this clever idea. I also use his Zap app for my node. Nice. Which I don't really think he works on anymore. It's more like an open source project.
Yep.
But I like it. It works very well. It's a Lightning enabled app, and I can't wait to see what Jack Mallers does. Even if his niche is doing the big athletes, and that's what Strike does. I'm cool with that. I remember you asked me before if I would get half my paycheck or something like that put in there.
Yeah.
This is strange. My answer would be no. It was no. And then because my thought was I'll just send it there if I have to. But I did that with the Fold app.
Yeah.
I put like a percentage of my check or whatever in the Fold app.
Oh,
Huh?
So it's like it's a
direct deposit, right? Yeah. But to me, it's like, does Strike need to be cooler? I don't know. Why did I decide to do that with Fold? Right?
There's more of an incentive with Fold because
sats in every purchase.
The wheel.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you cash back on everything. That's the reason why I use a credit card and everything. It's like it points back.
Yeah, right.
So it's
by the way, if y'all not doing that,
yeah,
that's the easiest sats you can ever get.
If you easy sats with the Fold app, or if you have a credit card now, whatever points you get back, you can just cash out, deposit to your bank, and then make a Bitcoin purchase. So it's the same idea. It's just an extra step to get there.
This isn't financial advice, but I know there's a lot of iPhone heads out there. The Apple Card gives you awesome perks, and they do fast transactions. So you swipe today, they make the balance available tomorrow, and you can send it to your bank, and it usually gets there by the afternoon, depending on your bank. My bank does that. So the Apple Card is a dope way to get 2-3% on pretty much every purchase if you tap it, and you don't have to wait a freaking week to get a few dollars over. You could set that at the current Bitcoin price right away. I do it all the time. Wow. It's a really cool perk to have. Anybody who has an iPhone that has good enough credit. Not financial advice.
Yeah.
It's just
some perks that are available.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, when you think about plebs and you think about dollar cost averaging, it's very easy to get staggered by the big dogs and be like, damn, I can't do that. But if you just realize if you just stack them sats and realize that, like we said earlier, 1,600 sats could be, $1 now and $1,600 in the near future. That's a no-brainer. Like if somebody went to you and said, "Hey, I'll give you $2,000 if you loan me $5 right now, but it's gonna take me a year to pay you back."
All day.
Let's take 10.
Can I give you 100? Yeah. Give you 1,000?
Yeah. So that's this type of exchange. So I always tell people to get it, even while you're experimenting, even while you're watching us, even while you're learning about it. Listen, we don't know everything about Bitcoin. It's such a deep hole. But $5, $10, we say it every episode, I feel like. But
even I just booked another vacay with Lolly. And it's just like,
shout out to Lolly. I love what Lolly's doing.
Thank you for the sats.
Yep.
But how long before my Lolly stash kind of pays for its own vacation?
Yeah, I think about that all the time too. Is that what the consensus is behind price the world in sats?
Yeah,
because that's kind of how I be telling my wife all the time. Like, look, we just went out to eat. This is gonna pay itself off in like 3 weeks.
Literally.
Yeah. So it's because if you search for these perks, you can find them everywhere. Like right now is the time that's hot. There's a lot of perks and a lot of companies trying to give you Satoshis for just doing stuff that you do every single day.
Yeah.
I never jumped on it because I didn't see any good, like a lot of reviews. It must have been an early company, but there's even like fitness incentive apps, whereas like you have the pedometer on it, and if you could walk a certain amount of steps, you get some sats released. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm following that company. I forgot what they were called, but we'll try to add them to the show notes for sure. I'm just sort of like the I forgot their name, the solar company where you could buy in that we talked about last week.
I remember.
Sun whatever. Yep. Like these are companies that I got my eye on, but I'm not sold on yet. Like I got to get more on that. But this is just the beginning of things. Like there's a lot of stuff going on.
We both used to go to the gym and home workouts now. I've been thinking how long before like you can go on a treadmill or Stairmaster and then harness that energy into like solar power.
Yeah.
Right. And then now what I'm thinking lately is like, because we're talking about, using extra gas, basically gas runoff to fuel the Bitcoin network. And like how long before you convert your bench press into Bitcoin, into sats?
That'd be crazy.
You know what I'm saying? That we're probably 50 years out from that tech.
Yeah.
But it's like, Michael Saylor talks about Bitcoin being this monetary energy network where you put all your energy here.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm exerting a lot of my energy, doing whatever it is, lunges, squats, like whatever, thrust, jumps, whatever, like, why can't I convert that into money?
Yeah, that'd be dope. So you just gave somebody an IP. Let's edit this part out.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with that. And what an incentive to get fit. Like
you get paid to get fit.
Come on, man.
Crazy.
Which, by the way, you don't need to get paid to get fit. Get your ass fit, so you don't have to be scared of things like COVID and things like that.
Fact.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. Cool stuff happening. Love Cash App. I'm gonna repeat myself from last week. We won't even have to get into it. PayPal.
Yeah.
Y'all fossils. Y'all falling in the wayside.
They're just the older crowd, man.
I don't care.
50, 60 years old, like 40.
And they won't go anywhere. I got it. And maybe they're hiding their bag, right? Maybe it's like, oh no, we're gonna watch them, and then
copy their moves.
Not copy them, but maybe be like, oh, like attack at the right point, right? Like whatever we've been working on, we're gonna unleash it.
Yeah,
I got it. I'm not counting them out, but right now, you got the headlock on. They're putting you down on the mat.
Yeah.
If you don't break out of this in 10 seconds, you're about to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Y'all need to bounce back quick.
I think, simultaneously, Cash App is more, it caters to a different audience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm just happy that both of their audiences are getting Bitcoin exposure.
Sure.
Because it's adding, again, more energy to the network.
That's an optimistic way. But IOUs are not energy, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, who else is going to step to the throne of Cash App in terms of making it fun, and who already has that audience of 100 million people?
I think they've already propelled themselves too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the culture makes things cool.
Yeah.
PayPal will never be able to sign anybody bigger than Jay-Z as a board member.
Right.
When it comes to culture, I mean.
Yeah.
And even before the Jay-Z acquisition, they were about the culture. Like, I don't see PayPal dropping these like, yo,
got
we tweet this.
Free money for you.
We got some free dough. We trying to like put energy in the system, right? You're giving free money out, and most people are gonna cash that out. But it's still energy in the system. You're still exposing people to it.
Yep.
What's up, PayPal?
Yeah. Their Bitcoin that they have on their network isn't even real. It's an IOU.
That's not energy.
People still don't understand that.
That's energy to PayPal. That's not energy to us, though.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's an uphill battle that they're gonna have to face. And you know, they got money. They're competitive. They got experience. Their history. They got network. They got reach. But you know, unless you admit to yourself, hey, we're not competing with those guys. Cool.
Right.
I always think about them when it comes to direct competition.
Yeah.
To Cash App, I mean.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of.
But yeah, in this conversation alone, the more and more we talk about it, the more and more I think Cash App strategically positioned themselves ahead of this whole crypto thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened the Cash App. If like Facebook, the metrics is how long can we keep people on the app, Cash App has done a fantastic job of having me go back to the app over and over again, whether it's to check for a boost, whether it's to check a balance, whether it's to check the price, whether it's to count sats, right? And see if I could get they found really cool, clever ways to do that. The little, even the little newsfeed thing, I get a lot of value out of that thing.
There.
Yeah, and they did it in a really cool way. And I'm going to be 1,000% honest. I don't use it as much as, say, you do or people I know. I've never checked crypto on PayPal once. Like, it wasn't even like they sent me emails, but I'm like, I'm good.
Not at all.
So yeah, they got an uphill battle. Let's get into this really interesting NFT thing.
Yeah.
We've talked about NFTs probably for the last 3 weeks or so.
Yep.
We like the ideas of having a holographic Charizard, you know, sitting in our digital lifestyles.
Yeah.
I even think we made the argument to where we live in a virtual world where we can hang these things up in our virtual houses.
Even playing NBA 2K online.
Yeah.
I heard Gary Vee breaking it down. And this is how he explained it. He was like, when you play 2K online, you dress your player the way you want to dress him, right? So he could be wearing a rare Michael Jordan Mitchell & Ness throwback with some Ken Griffey sneakers or, Jordan 11s, but you can like buy digital things to customize your guy. Yeah. Just to flex in the game. Right.
That's a good point.
He was like, that's what an NFT is. It's a real thing in a digital world.
That's an awesome point.
He then took it further, and he was like, I think in the future, instead of a Facebook page, we're going to look at our possessions that are virtual. So I could look at your virtual NFT that's, a rare song of, Joe Budden or some, artist.
Yep.
And I'm going to relate to you on like, yo, you got that song from Joe Budden off Mood Music 3?
Yeah.
Bro, that whole Mood Music series was my jam, right? Like,
yeah.
The way we consume digital goods is going to be like that. Even like right now on Venmo, you can see people's transactions. Yeah. So like I can see like certain people, giving someone money for, beer or pizza, and they'll add a sentence or something.
Yeah.
Or like one of my boys sent one of his boys dough, and he was like, sorry about your herpes. And it's
I'm about to say, what's the incentive in doing this? But there you go.
And so like you can kind of just open this up and see why people are transacting commerce.
Yeah.
But if we could open something up and see someone's digital wallet and see what content they have in there or their possessions, it's a way to relate to people. So Gary Vee broke that down, and I was like, that's good. I like that.
Sure. Would you pay $60 million to decorate your NBA player?
I mean, if I had 60 billion, yeah, sure, do it. Sign me up.
Don't donate that. Donate your favorite fund to cause. Yeah, I like Gary Vee's example. That makes a ton of sense. I just don't know.
As for the technical stuff that we were talking about, like that Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going to go, but I understand the idea now better.
Yeah, because the thing is, especially with music too, is like, oh, I got that new music too. I got a bootleg right here.
Yeah,
I got you. So what's the incentive to own this? Yeah, you could play it in the digital world. Well, I have the file. I could play it as well.
You know what I was thinking? I was like, what if the NFT came with the trackouts?
With the what?
It came with the individual trackouts. So you have the main vocal for the verse,
like the stems.
Like so you have Jay-Z's verse, and then you have just a track of Jay-Z's ad-libs.
Okay, but why do you need a blockchain for that?
I don't know.
You don't?
Yeah.
You could do that.
Right.
Jay-Z could just sell it and say, hey, here are my stems, right?
Yeah.
So the thing that's weird for me is before I read that thread, and we'll get into that thread in a second, to me it was just NFTs are cool and digital stuff could be valuable. We buy digital stuff all the time.
Right.
But the reason these things are going for 60 million and all these crazy prices is because the blockchain.
Yeah.
And most people don't even know what the blockchain is. So to me, it baffles me that their persistence, especially on the Ethereum network, is like NFTs are dope because you own the token on the blockchain.
Yeah.
But then, and I was like, okay, that's cool. You don't need to do that on the blockchain because you could just get a company, let's say Ethereum or anybody, who can just be like the data server for this. And you don't need a blockchain for that. You just trust them. They swap you. They own the license or they give you the license. They're the intermediary.
Yeah. And they handle the contract.
Yeah, but Ethereum is doing that in a centralized way, not a decentralized way.
Yeah.
So to me, it's not foolproof. And then you shared that thread with me.
Yeah.
And then the thread, the dude basically boiled it down to like, hey, that 60 million piece of work is just an XML file. And that XML file lives in somebody's servers. And when that company goes, so do the servers. And when the servers go, so does your XML file and your 60 million. It's not.
Yeah.
And then the thing is you own a token, say, right? They put you on the blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain. It's centralized. And the XML file is not on the blockchain. Your token is.
Yeah.
So now you have a token that's, the XML file is gone. The digital art is gone.
It's almost, so in layman's terms, it's like having a website, right? I have, whatever domain I have.
Yeah.
And then I go to pull it up and it says website not available because I didn't pay GoDaddy to host my website for that year.
Yeah. So
and,
now,
and my 60 million is gone.
Yeah.
With a blank web page.
Yeah. So now in Gary V's example, you go to load up your NBA player and he butt ass because you don't have the file.
Right.
Because you don't have the files anymore. Yeah. I don't know. We just skimmed through that thread, right? So I don't want to put like 100% merit on that.
Sure.
But I've listened to like Bitcoin developers live voice, right? Like not text, basically say like, it's ready to crash. That's all hype, complete hype. It doesn't make any technological sense whatsoever. They're using the blockchain to kind of prop it up as this mystic thing
and get better prices
and get crazy prices because they're promising you this token that nobody else can have, et cetera, et cetera. But if what this guy is saying that it's just a file that lives somewhere, you don't even own that file. You pay $60 million to borrow this XML file.
Yeah, to in theory pay for a page on my website.
Yeah, I made up, right? And an XML file, an Android at least, which I think it's more like what you see with your eyes, the hierarchy of what you're seeing. So where the buttons are, the colors, the themes that you're using, that's what the XML file does.
Yeah.
So when you boot up an app, it loads up the XML, right? And then the code underneath it is what tells it this button clicks and does that, right? Yeah. But an XML is just a visual thing. It's just where the buttons are, right? The UI. There you go. So you're buying a UI.
Yeah.
That could be deleted at some point.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, dead market.
Yeah.
Dead market. And I was telling you before we started, that just makes me feel bad for the buyers because a lot of people are going to lose money.
Yeah.
But the creators, because I see them in these clubhouse rooms and they're in there and they're interested. These NFT clubhouse rooms have like 500, 600 people. There's people interested in this.
Yeah.
You and I have been interested in this. But it's going to make me feel bad when, let's just say me or anybody, regular people spend months trying to figure out how to get dope art, get it tokenized, learn about it, do this whole process. And at the end of the day, by the time they get to try to shine, those prices are going to crash completely. Right. And it doesn't mean that if I put something up, you won't copy from me, right? And believe in me and stuff. But people are running to this because of the millions.
Yeah.
Because you could sell a canvas. There's some behind me. You could sell a canvas of your art now without blockchain, without anything. So I'm just scared for the people that are hyped on this. I'm not in those clubhouse rooms, but every time I scroll by the NFT titled ones, 500, 600, 700 people. Like there's people dead ass interested in this.
Yeah.
And it's scary because of that. I know they can making money, but when we want to talk about market manipulation. Yeah. Be careful.
I think it's still early with NFTs. Yeah. It's still early with Ethereum.
Yeah.
Like this whole new decentralized digital world and everything that's happening in it is still kind of new and kind of figuring out what it's going to be.
Sure.
It's not, in stone like Bitcoin.
Sure.
So hopefully things pan out well for NFTs, right? I want creators, especially in audio and even your book. You know what I mean? You could sell your book as an NFT.
I thought about that.
How fire is that, fam?
Yeah,
Like, I sold my book as an NFT. Like, I'm just hoping that it really works out for creators.
Yeah.
Because how fire would that be that you could make your book an NFT, and then you could sell it, and then it can be resold, and you can get royalties. Like, I think that's just insane. Like, I can create a digital good.
Yeah.
It's its own digital good and digital store. So just from like that perspective, I'm optimistic, and I hope it works out.
Yeah, I want it to work just to remove the middle people, right?
Yeah,
Which is I want to get rid of the labels in music. I want to get rid of the publishers in books, right? So that's why I thought about the book too.
Yeah.
But you're right. Ethereum's very early. This is the thing. I don't know why people think, maybe it's the marketing aspect of it, that these things can't happen on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There's nothing that Ethereum is doing right now, code-wise, that can't be done on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So now my thing is this: they're solving different problems. We talked about that a ton of times or whatever in the past, but like Sphinx Chat.
Yeah.
Like these are removing the middle people, because what Sphinx Chat is doing is they're sending messages over the Lightning Network. Like, I'm sending Ben a message, a paragraph right now, and it's going to charge me 5 Satoshis, whatever we set it at, right? 5 Satoshis per message.
Yep.
And I'm going to make sure that what I'm going to send Ben is not spam, because I'm paying for it. Mm-hmm. He's getting received that payment. But the cool part about it is it's running on the Lightning rails. So we're sending messages and embedding media, because I've been in these Sphinx rooms, and I could hide, like, you could be in the room with me. Let me try to make this simple.
Yeah.
You could be in the room with me, and then you could post a dope picture, but have it kind of like, unless you pay, you can't see it. Mm-hmm. So now I'm in this chat room, I'm scrolling, and I'm intrigued. I'm like, Ben usually posts some fire stuff. I'm going to pay the 10 Satoshis to see this thing.
Yeah.
You see how that completely changes the ballgame, and it doesn't need like smart contracts. It doesn't need, and that's running on the Lightning protocol.
Yeah.
And you can set it to 0 sats. So we can still do messaging over Lightning without needing to pay anything.
Yeah.
And
I saw someone break that down on why, like, he had like a paid service like that. And he was like, well, the reason we do that is because we want to avoid spam and bots.
Yeah.
Like the same way Reddit does karma, and you have to, put in the sweat equity of typing all those comments out.
Yeah.
This does that, but just monetarily.
Yeah.
Where you have to pay, again, 10 sats to be in a group or to see a message or to chat. So it keeps spam away, and it keeps bots away. Yep. Yeah. So it adds value to your experience.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
So the thing is, we get lost, and I like to say we get lost in the sauce with the big stuff, and we get lost in the sauce of like the big CEOs buying in and doing all this stuff. But the real nitty gritty, dirty work is like what Sphinx is doing right now, a year from now, is going to be what wallets are right now. You know how wallets are really hot right now? Like, there's always a new wallet coming out because right now people are worried about securing, right, and owning and all that stuff. But pretty soon people are like, the everyday people, I mean, because there's already people asking this question, but the everyday person's going to be like, yo, how can I use this to get paid? Like, how can I do this like easy and what the winning company is going to do is going to be able to do Lightning very well and be able to have rooms like that. Right. Or it's like, yo, is a value for value. If you don't want to see this, or if you think it's offensive, or you're going to pout, or you're going to cry, you're going to complain, just don't pay the sets. You don't see it. It's blocked.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then the podcasting 2.0. So Sphinx is trying to be like the, what's that? We talked about it before you came, the Chinese messaging app. It's not WhatsApp. WeChat, right? Yeah. So WeChat is like an everything app, right? Like you can order train tickets on there. You can order event stuff. You could do messaging. You could do... So what Sphinx is doing with Lightning is that it's basically an all platform that rides on the Bitcoin network on the protocol of Lightning.
Is it just an app?
It's an app, yeah. And right now you have to get invited to it.
Invite only.
And I think it's iOS. You have to test flight it. But they're close. They're close, man.
Not really trash because I'm on Android, but...
I know, but and they might have an Android one. I haven't looked into it, but Sphinx, I try to get you an invite.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, and this is the cool part, right?
I should just get an iPhone just for business, right?
Nah, that's neither here nor there. You just sat that, and then in like 5 years, that iPhone's gonna be worth a bunch of money. But this is another thing to invite somebody. So far, right now, I try to pull up an invite, and it's 4,000 sats. It's gonna cost me 4,000 sats to invite somebody.
What is that in USD? $2? Yeah, okay.
$2.50. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So it's going to cost me, and then the app will be able to dictate, right? Like if it's a high profile app, then I'll be like, nah, you need to be big dog and you need to have 20,000 sats or whatever it is to invite somebody, right?
Yeah.
And then you, as the creator, right, as the the podcaster, which we're already doing this, Talking in Bits. By the way, guys, if you're watching and you have Sphinx, you have a node, if you're running Lightning, I know that's a little bit early for a lot of people, but if you go and join the tribe, the Talking in Bits tribe. You could stream sats there. You could give us value for value. There's other ways that we allow you guys to donate at the bottom of the YouTube page, the bottom of the podcast page. We appreciate all the love. But yeah, we are on Podcasting 2.0. It's on Sphinx Chat. And back to the All app example, you could do your podcast in there. You could do social sharing there, images. You could, and everything's value for value. In order for you to partake in this conversation, you have to put your money up.
Yeah, it sounds like creators are going to do well in that space.
They already are. Shout out to Marty Bent. Marty Bent's probably doing the best. He's been like the early guy.
Marty Bird.
Is it Berg?
Ozark.
Oh, I said, damn, I got his name wrong the whole time. Nah, yeah, Ozark is one more season?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. But Marty Bent, shout out to him. He's been on Sphinx Chat for a while. Back in November, I found out about Sphinx Chat through him. I was able to get a hold of Adam Curie, Podfather. He personally exchanged conversation with me. He's great. His partner's great. They're working on Podcasting 2.0. They're the ones who walked me through the process and set me up.
Dope.
The only difficult part is getting people to the track, right? Because it's hard to get Sphinx app right now, and not too many other podcast apps are doing the value for value. But it's coming, and that's why I want to bring this stuff up, because we get lost in the billionaire talk and the millionaire talk. But the really cool stuff that's happening on the ground level with Lightning and things like that are where average people are going.
Yeah.
And young people. I don't want to put ages out there, but we want messaging. We want these things to run.
Yeah.
And back to the Ethereum thing, I just don't think, like the NFTs, Peter McCormick, which we have in the notes here, so let me quote him correctly on that.
Even the idea of like, I have a Telegram chat.
Yep.
And if I'm giving value in my Telegram chat, that someone could click the message that gave value and sat me instantaneously through Lightning. That's insane.
You could do that with bots now on Telegram. I joined the room the other day. I was in a Clubhouse room and the guy was like, I'll give sats out, whatever. And I loaded up on Telegram, but you still have to interact with the bot. Gotcha. And Reddit, you can do that as well, by the way.
Yeah.
So it'd be like /pay me or /balance and things like that. But the Sphinx app and the Lightning app, like the native Lightning app, will just give you a Lightning wallet.
Yeah.
And then you'll just see your balance and you'll be able to go back and forth. You'll be able to fund it. And a quick review for guys who, if you guys want to know what Lightning is, it's a layer that sits on top of Bitcoin. And what you do is you basically put your Bitcoin up to or whatever amount you want to spend up to the Lightning protocol network. It sits there and then you have an open tab. You're able to exchange that without clogging the blockchain, which makes it fast. Fees are like, I don't even think they exist. Sometimes it depends, but they're very low. If you're doing multiple transactions, fold, anything like that where you got to do a lot of gift carding and all that, check out the Lightning Network. It is a little early, but I promise you, 6 months from now, a year from now, on this podcast, we're going to be talking about something big, and it's going to be something like Sphinx or something that us Bitcoiners are going to be on.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be Twitter. It's going to be something else. Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah. And everybody's going to be paying everybody. You like my post? Don't just give me a worthless thumb because you passing by. Send me some sats, bro.
Yeah.
Send me some sats.
Yeah.
That's the world I see. And Sphinx is leading that. Which is why I think they're keeping it so tight for so long. Like they could have just dropped it because I think I showed it to you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty solid app. It does what it needs to do. You can listen to the podcast while talking to people. The streaming of the sats works perfectly. You get it. But they're holding back for a reason. I think is they're adding a bunch to this.
Yeah.
And they're gonna give us something crazy. I say 6 months, something like that.
So.
Yeah. So super cool stuff happening with Sphinx Chat.
Yeah, I love it, bro.
Lightning. Peter McCormick said, back to wrap up the NFT and wrap up this episode. We're about 50 minutes in. Blockchain doesn't fix things. Bitcoin does. That's important for you guys to keep in mind because that word blockchain gets thrown around all the time.
Yeah.
Blockchains existed.
It's like cloud. You know what I mean? Like when the cloud.
Oh, yeah,
it's just a buzzword.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's right. Blockchain technology existed. It's what Satoshi was able to do with this implementation that solves the problem. And as long as you have, no scarcity supply, Ethereum, we talked about this stuff. And as long as you are not actually decentralized by nature, your work will work and will be used by a lot of CEOs and companies because they'll trust it. Because I think it's more like they could point at somebody, right? Like if I'm a big CEO of a company, I'm going to try to do the Ethereum network because if anything gets screwed up, I'm going to go point at the Ethereum people. You can't do that with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Who are you pointing to?
Right.
So I think that's one of those things, but that doesn't make it better. It just makes people want to cop out easier.
Yeah.
So like I said a little while ago, watch out for that word blockchain. It doesn't fix anything. NFTs is an example of that. Yeah. I thought that the whole file was on the blockchain.
Yeah.
If just the token is on the blockchain, but the actual art itself is an XML file.
It's just like a URL.
That's no. You are paying for a URL. And if that's the case, I got a bunch of URLs for you. Here, I'll give you a wallet address.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got anything else for the people?
That's all, man.
That's cool. That wraps up episode 12.
Episode 12
and rolling. As always, guys, please rate, share, and subscribe so we can continue to have these conversations. Please let us know if you want to talk about a specific topic, if anything that you're confused about. Subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're on Sphinx chat, please check out the Talkinginbits tribe. We appreciate you guys as always. Episode 12 in the books.
Wrap.
Later, brother.
Peace.